What is up, Fabrication Nation? So here it is. Y'all been asking, so I've been working on it. Here it is. So for any of you guys that are new to the channel, I am a garage fabricator, so I'm not a professional anything really. I like to make cool stuff. I pay a lot of attention to details. That's my thing. I really like to focus on the details. And I've had a lot of you guys, subscribers, asking about starter TIG welders. Now the TIG welder that I use on a normal basis is the Diversion 180 by Miller. I think it's basically a starter TIG machine. It's nothing fancy. That thing starts off at about $2,000, which is really pricey for a lot of people. A lot of people that want to get into TIG welding, start doing stuff in their garage, you know, starting to TIG roll cages or intercooler piping or anything like that. It's hard for them to shell out 2,000 bucks and buy a TIG welder, not knowing what they're doing, if they're gonna like it, if they're gonna be able to do anything with it, or more. So, you know, they start off at $2,000 and they go up. So, because everybody's been asking for advice on starter TIG welders, as some of you might know, I've been working with Eastwood here lately. They have a brand new digital TIG 200 that they just released, and talking with those guys, they were like, hey, why don't we send you one, let you try it. If you feel like it's something that you can take to your viewers, then you can. If not, no big deal. So that's what we did. I've been running this thing through its paces for like the last week. I mean, just running bead after bead after bead, welding a bunch of pieces of scrap metal together. This is all aluminum stuff here. And everything I do, I'll weld the backside too. So I've just been trying every setting on this thing, every feature, just running it through its paces. I want to make sure that it's good before I bring it to you guys. You know, I want to make sure that I like it. I will say that it has definitely impressed me. This thing is really good. It's got a ton of features. It's got way more features than my Miller. It's actually got a lot more features than what you would find on the market for its price range, in my opinion. There are some welders that are still a budget style welder that have the same features this one has, but they're about $500 more than this machine here. So the first thing that I want to tell you is basically what I've done to this machine in its current welding form, if you will. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do to welders to make them perform better or worse. So first off, 100% argon. No argon helium mix, no mixture. It's just 100% argon. The tungsten is pure tungsten. So a lot of people like to weld different stuff, especially for aluminum. I'm doing the aluminum now, so it's a 100% tungsten, pure tungsten, no blends. May do some blend stuff later, but I just want to kind of break it down to the bases and show you what this thing can do. When I got this thing, immediately I put one of my gas lens diffusers on here with a ferric cup. I'm actually going to try this thing several different ways. I've got some porcelain cups I'm going to put on this, but all of them are a gas lens style cup. That's what I prefer. I think it works way better than what a lot of these machines come factory with, and I recommend that anybody out there, no matter what the machine you get, that you put a gas lens on your TIG torch. It just makes a big difference in my opinion. So I did that also because I wouldn't weld with anything else. Other than that, it is exactly how it comes from Eastwood. Obviously I've changed a lot of the settings in here to adjust my style of welding, but other than that, it's exactly what you get in the kit. You get the machine. This is a digital machine. It's very lightweight because of that. It comes with a foot pedal. Comes with a standard foot pedal, and the torch actually has a finger trigger on it. So with this machine you get both. It's easy to change. This plug here is for the finger trigger. I don't have it plugged in now. I've got the pedal in, but all I have to do is unscrew this one, put the finger trigger in there. Very nice for when you're in tight places. Say you're in a car underneath something trying to weld up some tight spaces on some roll bar tubing. You don't have really a place to hold the pedal. You got your finger trigger, and if you're used to it, it can work very well. Some of the features this machine has are specific to this trigger, and I will go over those later. Alright, so enough talking. Let's get to welding. So basically all I've got is some 2 pieces of 063, I think it's like 3003 alloy aluminum sheet metal, nothing special. And the aluminum rod that I'm using is some 4043, I believe. Yes, 4043. I want you guys to realize that I am not a professional TIG welder by no means. I can get the job done. Sometimes it looks pretty good, but I want you to realize that because I am like you. I am, other than just some seat time maybe for some of you, I'm just a beginner in my shop trying to TIG weld stuff together, aluminum and steel. And so I've got some experience, but I am not a professional. I don't do it for a living. I just make stuff in my garage. Alright, so anyway, I've got this stuff just Clecoed together, and let's fire this bad boy up. Alright, so the first feature that I'm going to go over is this machine allows you, when welding aluminum, it allows you to adjust the frequency of the TIG weld itself. Okay, this is not new to any machines. A lot of machines have it. It's usually the higher end machines, and this one goes from 30 hertz all the way up to 200 hertz. The advantage to this is that it actually changes the arc cone. So the lower the frequency, the wider that thing is. The higher the frequency, it kind of narrows it in and allows you to be a little more precise. Now what you're going to notice is a change in sound. So we're going to start off at 100 hertz and kind of get a sound. It's going to kind of be a lower frequency, so you're going to have a lower sound to it. And I'll just weld probably, I don't know, maybe an inch. Alright, so there you go. That's 100 hertz. And I've got it on a mix mode, which I'll go over later. Which the mix mode basically introduces like a square wave into it with a combination of AC and DC. Don't really understand it, but that's what it does. So let's turn it up. Alright, now what you're going to notice is it's instantly going to be a higher pitched noise. It's still going to kind of have that pulse to it, but it's going to be a much higher noise, higher frequency noise. Let's do it again. This is the pulse here. Basically the same settings. Alright guys, there you go. Laying down some beads with aluminum. This thing makes me look much better than I really am. It has definitely stepped up my game a little bit. Never really used the pulse feature, and it actually works pretty nice to help me kind of get a rhythm. And even when I don't use the pulse, if I use the mix and it kind of has that pulse sound to it, you can't change the length of the pulse, and it's really too quick to kind of put filler rod in any time it pulses. But what I do is every other one. Basically, starting at the top. So it'll do arc, it'll do DC TIG, it'll do AC TIG, and it'll do spot welding. So this thing has a spot weld feature where you put a special cup on it. That cup holds the tungsten a specified amount away from the material you're trying to weld, and when you hit it, it basically does this thing and puts a little spot weld in there for you. I have not tried that. I've seen some videos of it though. Looks pretty cool. Pulse, obviously you can change the pulse width, so you can have it pulse once every second, all the way up to like 800 times a second, and anywhere in between. I actually think you can have it less than once a second, so you can have like long pulses if you wanted to. Like you've seen here, the pulse feature can be very useful. It helped me just to kind of get a rhythm down for, you know, dab and move type of rhythm. This machine has what you call high frequency start. So some of you guys might have heard of like scratch start. Well, that basically means that you have to touch the tungsten to the material and then drag it off in order to get it to start. You don't have to do that with this. It's got what they call high frequency start. Basically, if you just hold it close, once you mash the pedal, it will jump the arc via high frequency. It's also got an option called lift start, which is really cool. Didn't even know it really existed until this machine. But basically, if you're in a really tight place, say you're in the car and it's dark in there and you can't really, you're trying to weld inside of a little joint and you can't really see how close the tungsten is to it before you start, it's got what they call lift start. Basically touch the tungsten to that, and as soon as you lift off, it's going to start. So you can basically touch the tungsten exactly where you're going to weld and not have to worry about seeing it. And then as soon as you lift off, it's going to start that arc. The welding will start then with the finger control. So basically what you can do is this thing has settings where you can ramp up, ramp down, your pre-flow on your gas, your post-flow on your gas. You can set those times. When using the trigger itself, because you don't have adjustability like you have on the pedal, you can preset those in the machine. So when you pull the trigger, it's going to start off at whatever amperage you want it to. It's going to ramp up over whatever time you want it to ramp up, and it's going to ramp up to whatever amperage you want it to ramp up to. The same thing when you let off the trigger. It's going to then ramp down over a specified time length that you've put in there, in seconds obviously, and it's going to ramp down to a specified amperage that you have put in the machine, and then it's going to have a post flow. So if you know that what you're welding is going to be needs 100 amps, but you kind of want to have a heat up period of 5 seconds, you'd start off at say 50 amps, put 5 seconds in there. It's going to weld through as long as you hold the trigger at 100 amps, and then as soon as you let off, it's going to then ramp down and cool that puddle off, and then have a post flow on the gas. Like I said, all that stuff's adjustable, very useful if you're using the trigger itself. This machine also comes with a very nice flex head torch. So you got a nice flexible head torch on there, which is not normally standard in your TIG welders, especially not your cheaper TIG welders. So that was very nice. I've actually never had a torch that had a flex head on it, and it actually comes in very handy. Other than that, the machine's pretty self-explanatory. It comes with a nice manual, explains everything. And like I said, I don't know all the features on this thing. I've played around with a lot. I've learned a lot of the features, but I'm sure I'm missing things that this thing does that I just haven't got to yet. The display on it is pretty nice. It's just touch button display as far as cycling through your modes, and then the twist knob for the amperage. You can push it. It's actually a button also, and that's how you basically select the setting that you want to change. You push it, it puts it in change mode. You can change it with the dial, and then when you push it again, it's set. Then you move to the next one. So it's pretty simple. I only welded aluminum today. Aluminum's usually the harder metal to weld, TIG weld, at least for me it is. Steel and stainless are a lot easier. And so I know that if I can do aluminum the way that I have, I shouldn't have any troubles with this machine doing stainless or steel. Alright, so it's not all peaches on this thing. There are some complaints that I do have. So far they're very minimal, but I do have a couple things that aren't game changers, but I don't really like it. So I figured I'd tell you those too. The first one is this thing does not have a fan that cycles on it. So some machines, when you turn it on, there's no fan. You weld. Once it gets warm, the fan kicks on and it cools it off. This machine does not have that. When you turn this machine on, the fan kicks on and it is on the entire time the machine is on. Other than it kind of being annoying, it may actually be a good thing. It may keep this thing really, really cool, keep the components from burning up. I think it's just more of a quirk for me than anything else. The other thing is the cups, but that's kind of the complaint I have with all TIG welders. I don't understand why they don't all come with gas lenses. Maybe there's a reason that I don't know of. Like I said, I always change them as soon as I get them. Put a gas lens on there, and you won't be disappointed. I bought this conversion kit here. One of the problems with your TIG torches that come with a lot of these machines is that they don't make a lot of small style gas lenses for them. You have to actually convert them to a different style torch. So I bought this kit. It wasn't very expensive. And it came with an assortment of gas lenses for different size tungstens, and then the different sizes of cups for those gas lenses, and obviously the collets that go with them. Alright guys, to recap, I'm gonna be honest, this thing blew me away. I think I was kind of expecting to get a machine that just couldn't quite get the job done. You know, it would work like it's supposed to as far as, you know, the pedal and the amperage goes up and down and it does the TIG motions, but I just didn't think that it would get the job done like it did. I'm really impressed with it. I would definitely have this as my go-to TIG machine. Matter of fact, it will be my go-to TIG machine. I may set this one up to be like my bench TIG, to do aluminum and steel, and just have my Miller set up to do steel and have it kind of floating around the shop. My suggestion to you guys is I would go check them out. I'll put some links in the description where you can go find this digital TIG 200 from Eastwood. I'll also put some links in the description where you can get some cups. I'll put this one and the Furic cups that I actually have on my torch. And go check it out. Go check it out. Go read about it. Go see what you think. And I think they're under $1,000 bucks, which is a great price for a really nice TIG welder that has the features and options this one has. So my suggestion to you is make your own judgment, obviously. I mean, you've seen what it did here. You see the options that it has. Go read about it. Go check it out. And let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped. For any of you guys out there that are like, I just don't know what TIG machine to buy. I want to get in the game. I want to start TIG welding. I don't know what to buy. I don't want to spend $5,000. There you go. There's one option for you. Anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you guys some more this week. Go do work, son!